So here we are. This is my latest purchase. This is a like 19, I don't know, whatever year. It's an old stove looking thing. It's actually an old kerosene stove. There was a tank thing on the back, but I think I lost that when I bought this. Guy was wanting to like $140 for it, and I offered him like $50 because I could give it. I could care less like to use it as a stove. So the goal here is actually to turn this into something that might be from like the Fallout universe, because I don't know, I've always kind of wanted a stand for all my Fallout stuff. I'm kind of a geek, and I don't really care who knows it. And I thought this thing looked pretty cool, and so the goal here is to first sand it down. I got my friend Steve here to help me. Say hi, Steve.
Hi.
So we're gonna sand this puppy down, and I just went to the Home Depot, and I know nothing about sandpapers and stuff really, and I had just found the guy with the best mustache in Home Depot, because everybody knows if you want the best advice in Home Depot, you got to find the guy with the best mustache. And the guy told me to use a couple different steps of sandpaper. Start off with like a 60 grit and move up to like, I think I bought a 200 and something grit. So first we're gonna sand this down. So we'll do that right now. Also, we really don't. We're gonna get rid of all that. We don't need that. Nope. So we got it wiped down for now, and took all the junk out of the inside out. We don't need any of that. I think we're gonna take it apart in pieces now and sand it piece by piece. I hit it with a little bit of WD-40 to get some of the rust off, but yeah, we'll see what we can do if we just take it apart and sand it down by piece. I think that's gonna be the best way to approach this. And voila! Yeah, we got some of these pieces off. We'll sand these down and just kind of go at it bit by bit. I think that's the best way to work at it. Don't you think, Steve?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Passers-by looking through the window might think that Steve is just going to town on himself over here. How's that feel, Steve?
It feels weird. I usually use my right hand.
Nice part is, I guess, kind of found this out, but the black stuff is a lot harder to come off than this white stuff, and I think that's because, well, the black stuff was made like on the top of the stove, and I think that was made to take the heat because it's a stove, and this white stuff is mostly just cosmetic, so I think that's why it's coming off easier. So this might not be as hard as I thought it was. I'm gonna try and sand it down as best I can. Like these spots here, it's kind of rusty, but we'll get at it. You know, it's not gonna happen overnight, but it'll come back to it every day or so, and eventually this thing should turn pretty cool, huh? What do you think, Steve?
I think of it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna work on it for a little bit longer here. So, well, it's day 2, and I did some more sanding. I won't lie. I won't say it's a little sanding. This actually took a lot of time to do. Steve isn't here to comment on anything, but I feel like I'm at the point where I would use the phrase, well, that's good enough for the women I date. So, it's to the point where most of the rust is gone, and it's actually, I mean, it looks pretty cool in this state, to be honest. But yeah, most of the rust is gone, and I think the primer is gonna be able to cover up any mistakes that I missed. Now you might be wondering, well, if you're going to use this as a display stand, what are these 2 holes? How are they going to come into play? What are you going to do about that? And I'm glad you're thinking that too, because that's what I'm thinking too. I'm usually one of them kind of guys that, like I said before, cross that bridge when I get there. Well, that's the bridge I'm at now, so I got to do a little bit of thinking. However, this piece does pop off for now, so I might just set that aside and prime this, the rest of it. I don't think I'll take it apart and prime each piece by piece, because I'll be honest, I just don't want to take it apart and put it back together. It just seems like a lot of work. And I don't even know if I'm going to hit this back piece here, because that, I believe, is tin as opposed to steel like the rest of it. And I really like this kind of patent number thing. I think it kind of adds to the aesthetic I'm going for. So with that said, I think I'll set this to the side and hit it with some primer. I bought 2 cans, although I don't think I'm going to end up needing 2 cans. But so I'll do that in the meantime and come back when I'm done. Okay, well, I am glad I bought 2 cans of primer, because I ran out and I still have some spots that I haven't hit yet. But I just wanted to take another video just to show that, like, look how satisfying this is already. Like, it looks like this thing was just bought from the store. It just came from, I don't know, wherever you would have bought a kerosene oven back in the day. Or stove, I should say. Yeah, I still gotta hit some spots yet. So I might need to go grab another can of blue as well, because this is mostly gonna be blue by the time it's done. And yeah, so I just thought that looked pretty freaking satisfying. Just even the inside. Oh man, that's pretty cool. So I finished priming most of it last night, and I got to thinking on how I'm going to work the top of the display stand. So here's what I think I'm going to do. I think so far this is what the normal base looks like, but there's already brackets that go on the back for the like the back of the oven display piece. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do is take those, copy them, but make them taller. And then I'm going to make 3 different plates of different, they'd be the same width but different depths. And I have that down here. So the top will be the smallest, and then the middle, and then the bottom. And it'll kind of look like this from the side view. As far as the width, they're gonna be as wide as the back plate, because that's going to be on top up here somewhere. The bracket will keep going and have the display plate. So then it'll kind of like trickle down like stair steps, and I think that'll look pretty cool. As far as the holes in the bottom go, because they will still be here, I'm thinking I might just make 2 plates to go over them, but I also have another idea. I'm going to have to hit up the hardware store and look, because I'm not sure if I could find anything like what I'm looking for, but it's worth a look. If not, we'll just go with a regular square, and we'll figure out how to design it from there, I guess. But so far, that is the plan. Fast forward. Whoa, no, what has he done? Well, I haven't done a hell of a lot. I've moved to a different shop, I guess you could say, at the house garage. But I have done a lot of planning, and this has probably been 5 months since I've worked on this. Just been so damn busy. But there's been some really cool things that I have planned and I've bought for this project. So first things first, we'll reveal what we are doing on the inside here and what we are doing with these holes. So I was doing some browsing on the internet, and I kind of had an idea, and luckily enough I found this. Now I looked at it on the picture online, and it was kind of hard to gauge the one important fact: size and measurements. And the one thing that concerned me was the distance between these 2 knobs. So this record player has knobs that are 9.5 inches center to center. These holes, they're 10 inches center to center. So I have to come up with a plan for that. However, the rest of the machine itself does fit in there. There was a plastic lid that went over the top of this, but we scrapped that. So in its state right now, you can kind of, I don't know, like reach in here, but that's not the way it's gonna be. First things first, I'm gonna build a wood box for the inside of this that fits around here, and instead of being a hinge from now on, this whole thing's gonna be a drawer. So that's what I'm working on now. So it's actually pretty cool. I have tested this and it does work. Like, you can actually fit a record on here and play it with the door shut. Now when I'm adding this drawer onto here, which is why I bought some wood, as you can see over there, I guess we'll find out. Hopefully everything goes to plan. I've got a whole bunch of other stuff already pre-planned out for this, but I'll reveal that as I go. So next step, drawer for this thing. Spoke a little too soon about mounting the shelves and being ready for paint. I did mount the shelves, and they're right here. You can see how they're three different depths, and they're just a 90 bent, piece of sheet metal with some holes drilled in the back, and they've got the same corner radius as the outside of this. And I did have them mounted, so it sort of like goes, biggest, middle, smallest. And then the top up here is left open for the faceplate that I have just using as a tray right now. I did have them all set up. I'm sorry I forgot to take a video on that. But anyways, I had to take all the shelves off anyways because I'm using this stuff that I found at Home Depot, some sort of cool, great looking stuff, and I'm covering the holes of these what used to be burners, and I'm covering them to kind of make them look like speaker hole grate kind of thing. And in order for me to do that, I had to take the shelves off anyways. So what I've done is I basically cut out a square of this stuff, just kind of haphazardly, and then I had to figure out how to round it to these corners so it would fill out without having like a gap. And for the most part, I think I did okay. This piece still isn't attached yet. I ended up making my own like form thing. This fits, in the holes, and that fits one way, anyways. That's what I use to round out the edges here to kind of make it, have that bubbly 50s look. Yeah. So anyway, now I'm going to pop this whole top off and make the other hole to match and make sure they're secure. And after that, I will put the shelves back on, but not before I probably end up painting them. Now I've got this primed with the grates and everything, but the sound of the record player was kind of getting muffled inside of the whole contraption itself. So we decided that I'm gonna wire in some other speakers, and I found these. They're just little, I don't know, like 4-inch wide speakers that I salvaged from a crappy old Sony boombox, I guess you could say. And so I've made a wood piece that goes underneath this, that the speakers actually mount into here, so they'll be directly underneath. So the speaker grates will actually have speakers in them, go figure. So that's going to mount like that, and when this is they're all being primed right now, all the pieces are going to be primed and then painted, and then final assembly should be coming up here next. I say, daggum, we got all this stuff painted, and it's looking so fine. Yes, sir, I like this blue look. It should be dry by now, so I'm going to find all these kind of ridges and indentations here, and I'm going to scotch tape around them, and I'm going to paint these yellow just to give it a little bit more of a pop.
Kevin Kramer let the president tell you something.
God damn it, Kevin Kramer.
He voted 7 times for tougher border security and to arrest convicted and deport illegal immigrants who commit crimes.
You
I think
fucker.
it's tough, law enforcement.
Kevin Kramer, you son of a bitch.
Check this out. I made a decal by hand. Oh, this was a pain in the sphincter. And I ran a test with this decal stuff on my, made like my logo on a trash can. And I don't know, it didn't really turn out the way I wanted, but I think that's because that was plastic and it didn't really adhere as well. I guess we'll find out. I'm guessing I'm gonna need to do a little touch-ups. I tried to do a little pre-touch-up here because there was a messed up T mark, but I can also see that this A isn't quite perfectly aligned, so I might have to kind of touch it up afterwards, but hopefully this all goes well. Oh, moment of truth. So freaking cool. Really fun part. I'm gonna a little bit of touch up. Not too bad. There's a little bit of spots here. See a spot there. But you know what? That's minor and expected. This is gonna be what I'm hoping turns out. So before we get to the final reveal, I would just like to stop and take a minute to say thank you to all my friends who helped me with this project. So shout out to my friend Steve, who helped me sand down all the parts before painting them. Shout out to my friend Blair, who helped me figure out a little bit of fine tuning with the record player and whatnot. Shout out to my friend Matt, who I sent the dimensions for the shelves to be cut, and he laser cut those out at his job, so thank you for that. And shout out to my friend Chad, who 3D printed the knobs for me. Thanks, guys. And now on to the final reveal. So, the question is, does it actually work? Well, let's find out.